And we'll see what happens here as we hop into the draft for game 1.
I do think it makes it more interesting when multiple strategies can work out in that way. And interestingly, so BNK FEARX have gone for second pick here. Both the matches they played last time, Kiwoom DRX had first pick, so it's the same pick selection here. And the bans Kiwoom DRX started the series out with were Poppy, Shen, and Olaf. So this time they're going Poppy Nocturne, changing up the strategy a bit. Whereas BNK FEARX, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Orianna Casio was what they banned last time around.
And the Olaf blind pick has been countered a bunch of times. We have seen 2 games of Kled into it where it looked very strong as an answer. So I'm not sure about, first picking it or even picking it early.
BNK FEARX did ban Vi here in both games last time they played this matchup. And considering the Poppy Nocturne Jarvan ban does push the priority up a bit, are they going to take that out here as well? Or you could let it go. You could be comfortable playing like the Theory into it. And they instead go for that Camille ban. Are Kiwoom DRX just going to slam jungle here? Or, there's things like the Olaf open, the Jace open,
the Shen.
The carry picks, the Shen. There's a lot of power picks, but they have been very focused on jungle bans here. And they opt to pick up the Vi as a result. I think for BNK FEARX, when we first saw Neferi come into the meta, it was as a Vi counter. And it's now at the point where the pick stands on its own, and we see teams just pick it. It's also good into Jarvan, for example, but I think for Raptor, it could make a lot of sense to pick it here. That being said, don't have to prioritize it right now. Instead, they're going to go for Ezreal, give Taeyoon a good level of safety. Ezreal Bard is available, and an option here could go Ezreal Shen.
Yeah, seen a lot of Ezreal Shen and, Ezreal Camille. Anything that can roam and just leave the Ezreal alone because he is very self-sufficient. That's really kind of the idea that you want out of your AD carry nowadays.
I also think just having Ezreal Bard into Vi means she just loses so much value.
Yeah.
Very hard to get in the Ezreal, and if you do, you can Arcane Shift over terrain, follow-up won't necessarily be there, and you get pulled in the enemy team. Bard can just stasis on top of the ult. So will they commit to that? I mean, the Shen, as you said, also a great pick. I think Kellin kind of spoiled for choice here, but we'll see if they leave support and they actually go for that Olaf pick. We've been seeing this rise up in priority, getting picked earlier and earlier in the draft, and right now there's only the Vi that's been shown on the other side, but it just feels like limited answers. We saw the Kled start to come out as a response to it, and I'm wondering if Frog has something prepared here to go into the Olaf. And that also raises questions. Are you going to pick your bot lane here, knowing that you're up against the Ezreal, maybe something like Lucian Milio, or are you going to pick your solo lanes to match that Olaf? And it looks like they'll at least be picking the mid right now. So Ryze comes through for Ucal. A pick he's very comfortable on. Did actually play this into BNK FEARX in game 1 last time they met.
Jax is another answer. We've seen a decent amount into Olaf.
Yeah.
It is a little bit closer in terms of the matchup. You don't have Skarl to hop off of, but still can at least match the Olaf in the top lane and not get rolled over most of the time.
I also think mastery of Jax is something that so many more for LCK top laners have. There's been so many metas where Jax has been a dominant pick, and the expectation is that every LCK top will at least have a good amount of games. Kled is definitely more niche. Definitely, you have to practice it and be ready. So I think picking the Jax here makes sense, but that doesn't mean they don't respond to bot lane. I think getting the Ryze, which is a great power pick in the mid, a lot of roaming potential on the Jax and the Olaf makes sense, but you're now allowing BNK FEARX to take this Ezreal Karma, and they can start to ban away things they're potentially concerned about. They could end up banning things like, there's Jim Bard, there's Lucian Milio, there's Sivir, which can be good into these abilities. There's Nautilus, who's good into Karma specifically. And they'll start off by taking out the Nautilus. I think that's part of the reason Kiwoom DRX felt pretty comfortable to leave it here, because there is a lot of bot lane options available.
Yeah. You have so many choices. You mentioned Kellin spoiled for choice, and he does go for a very Kellin pick in the Karma. Doesn't go for something a little bit proactive like a Shen or a Bard. But that just means that both Shen and Bard are available and could be options. Shen doesn't have the most fun time into Ezreal Karma, though, so a lot to consider here.
Are we just going to get 5 jungle bans from Kiwoom DRX? I would probably go for the Neferi next if I was them, but that still leaves Lee Sin open and available. So, 5 jungle bans and he still gets Lee Sin. doesn't feel too phenomenal.
Yeah.
Or maybe they ban the Lee Sin and he gets Neferi. Either way, I think Raptor's comfortable, even if you throw all these bans at him. They do go for that Jhin ban. Is the Lee Sin ban, not the Neferi? Will Raptor just grab the Neferi? Or will they pick mid here and leave it till last? Or go in a different direction? There's obviously also Xin Zhao available. It looks like Xin Zhao Karma, a strong pairing, and it looks like they're leaning more towards that than the Neferi.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Just a more stable pick that can provide more of a front line for what already is the Ezreal Karma. Now we're thinking about a Kai'Sa here.
I think this is one of the things with banning 5 junglers in game 1, is by game 3, 4 junglers are taken out of the pool anyway, so junglers are much more used to being able to handle being target banned in this way. Xin Zhao's still a great pick. Looking at the Caitlyn Bard, an option here, and a pick where if they come out ahead in the 2v2, Caitlyn definitely Eamon could carry on that one. The range going to be useful. I will say if the Olaf gets on you, you're going to have a bad time. And now looking at VicLa's pick, and he's just eyeing up the Syndra. I've seen Syndra often favored into the Ryze, and the Scout of the Week has a lot of value here.
Yeah. Feels pretty good. I mean, you could go for something like an Anivia. Not the Victor, though. We haven't been liking the Victor nowadays. I think Syndra's a good option. We've even seen it banned when teams pick the Ryze just to get him out of that matchup.
I think a lot of this game hinges on those side lanes. Olaf and a Jax can be volatile if one of them gains momentum. If you look at BNK FEARX, 3 auto attackers and then a Syndra, if Jax ends up fed, it's going to be tough to deal with him. And then on the other side, Olaf can kind of just run through this team. A lot of the CC tools to peel just won't apply. But also the bot lane. These bot lane combos are both intended to win lane, both intended to curve ahead. And if you end up losing lane on Caitlyn, it's going to feel pretty bad. If Ezreal falls behind the curve, then Caitlyn can get her crit items online, get to 3-4. So I think for me, it's a lot about the side lane, how they lane, and also how the junglers and mid laners influence that.
Yeah, a lot of our matches recently have really come down to the execution from the teams, even more so than the draft. We've definitely seen some interesting picks, such as that Kled into Olaf, but not this time around, not in this best of 3, as we do see Jax.
I feel like a draft gap has to be humongous to get you all the way. You still got to play the game.
Yeah, still got to play the game. Very curious about this Jax from Frog. As we are ready, let's hop into the rift for game number 1. All right, game number 1 of this best of 3. And I was casting the Kespa Cup with Wolf this week. We did see a Jackson to Olaf. And it actually did fall pretty far behind and ended up not being a great response. But again, it felt like the matchup was very much skill-oriented rather than, okay, Jax is just a straight-up counter. Did go for the Ignite. We've been seeing a lot of different summoners in the top lane. Ignite, Exhaust, Ghost.
Yeah, interesting to see the Ignite versus Exhaust there. Obviously a lot of healing from Olaf, so Ignite making a good amount of sense. With Exhaust, I feel like it's so much about the timing. With Ignite, as long as you don't press it too late, you're getting value from it. Obviously, you do want to reduce that healing, but Exhaust, if you mistime it, it could just be getting very little value. But it does mean both of these top laners will have the longer cooldown and teleport. So that resource is going to be a lot more valuable, especially as Ucal doesn't have teleport as well. With Kiwoom DRX, you have one super long cooldown teleport across the whole team, which is not ideal when you're trying to play through the side lanes.
Yeah. Now,
Taeyoon and Kellin getting a big edge here in the bot lane 2v2. Ezreal Karma definitely really strong at level 1 and can continue that pressure at level 2.
That's a Mantra Q already. Eating forward into Andil. He's going to take a ton of damage from Taeyoon and Kellin. And yeah, I like how Kellin just dropped a shield on a Taeyoon and said, okay, go ahead and trade with aiming. Just auto him. And we know Ezreal for mostly, you know, hitting some big Qs and arcane shifting forward and making big plays and skill shots, but when you don't necessarily have the sustain, but you have the shielding, you can just drop a shield and take a good trade.
We've seen the lethal tempo Ezreal be really popular recently, and when you have your spell flux fully stacked, you have Doran's bow, you have the lethal tempo stacked, just the consistent auto damage is super high. It's like you land the Mystic Shot, and obviously it refreshes those, and it's the extra damage is great, but just autoing a target, it does so much damage in the early levels, and it's made Ezreal really difficult to shut down, to match into.
Yeah, especially because a lot of the times he's just alone, and not a lot of lanes can punish that unless they are very, very bot-focused, like a Lucian Melia or something. We do see that Clear already has 3 games of Olaf under his belt to 3 wins, which honestly is a lot more than I expected him to have already. Raptor's here in the bottom lane. He's going to get the flash out of Andil, so that's no summoners now on the Kiwoom DRX support.
Just found a good window to move down bot, get that pressure down. Andil down flash, and having to reset already. Look at the wave as well. This is a terrible situation for aiming. Going to be zoned off this farm, and bot lane quickly spiraling out of control for Kiwoom DRX. Aiming going for the cull as well. I mean, it's cull versus tier, so it's not really the end of the world, but definitely the mindset of Kiwoom DRX this early in the game is just, okay, we need a control bot, just stabilize it, not fall further behind than we already are.
Yeah. That's why it's so important, especially this early on, to take note of where the junglers are, where the supports are going. We saw Andil, after not having a good time in bot lane, he went mid at level 2, and you know, that kind of just left aiming on an island until Andil did get it back and came down here. And still, even with him here, it's not doing a whole lot, so yeah, it's been rough. And also a good game from Raptor compared to Willer, who's just been kind of farming it out.
And there's now a significant XP advantage. Both Taeyoon and Kellin are like a full level up, and yes, there's some extra minions for Kiwoom DRX, but not enough to make up that big of a difference. Kellin just at level 4, Taeyoon's nearly level 5. And those levels really matter, especially when you're playing Ezreal Karma, who you're maxing your Q first on both of them, getting that extra damage.
VicLa, he's just going to find 2 people in the jungle. Scout of the Week's going to help, but with the Ghost, VicLa is just dead, as he's going to get autoed down by a Ryze. Not the place to be as a Syndra. Taeyoon's going into the turret, doesn't care, as he drops the W in the auto, and that picks up the kill. But now we got Willer and Ucal down here. Raptor trying to help out his bottom lane, but got to be very careful about how they're going to go for this one. A lot of go pings as they go in onto Kellin, and Taeyoon doesn't have his flash or his barrier anymore, so he will be the sacrifice, and aiming gets the kill.
Big that aiming got that kill there. A bit of recuperation for the bot lane after Taeyoon and Kellin were kind of just styling on them. Committed a bit too heavily, and Kiwoom DRX doing a good job of moving down and punishing that dive onto Andil. Now, VicLa will get a plate and get to push this wave in the meantime, but overall, I think Kiwoom DRX doing a good job of responding there.
Yeah, just a fast rotation down. We see that in the top lane early on, the Olaf not having a very fun time. Obviously, once he gets Ragnarok and go for all-ins against Counter-Strike, he will have more fun, but they don't have TPs. So if you fall behind like this, it's very difficult to actually maintain lane presence if you're just not there and you have to walk all the way back. So he's just kind of hugging his turret, which means big priority to the side of Frog, as Raptor is going to get the Hextech Drake here for the side of BNK FEARX.
Hextech, and then we see it's Infernal next. So I feel like at this point, kind of 50-50 whether you get a powerful soul or not. Although, to be fair, Ocean, Chemtech, pretty good with some of these champs. Can't complain too much. Oh, they're looking for Kellin now. Ryze is moving. Kellin is just dead.
He's dead. He was playing very aggressively there. And, yeah, against the Ryze and the Bard, with the stun coming in, he's just going to go down. So, yeah, a very big positioning mistake leads to his doom.
Fortunately, aiming doesn't quite have the level 6, otherwise I'm certain he would have ulted to take that kill in the end. But kind of showing how the control of mid-jungle from Ucal and Willer has started to clamp down on Taeyoon and Kellin, who are doing well in the 2v2.
There you go. The exhaust's going to come in, and the Ragnarok is there, but it's still going to be the end of him as he gets stunned at the end. And with the Ignite, it's an easy kill for Frog.
Great play there from Frog. Both of them committing everything to the play. The player just not able to get the damage down in time. Had to retreat, and on Olaf running away feels so bad. You're not keeping your ult up. You're not axing and then chasing through. He is definitely a win more champion, and he did not win that play.
Yeah. I think once you commit there, you kind of just have to go down swinging. Because as you said, you don't really gain much value by just running. But kind of found himself in an awkward spot, felt forced to take the all-in and didn't like what he saw, so he's going to die anyway.
Yeah, and I believe Frog also already had the passive stacked up on the minions when he jumped in, so really using the minion wave well there to get the maximum amount of damage, having all that extra attack speed, and Clear just caught off guard.
Raptor standing on a ward right now. We do have Ucal once again heading down to the bottom side of the map. And
good heal.
Yeah, good heal gets him away. Ucal could have technically tried to like flash and root and set up a play, but they do not go for it. Willer was going for the grubs. Ucal's just going to realm warp to mid because he doesn't want to deal with any shenanigans. Very smart from him.
He's been playing this so well, and I think a big factor is that he's finding windows to move consistently. He didn't overstep there and force a flash when he knew Raptor was behind him and his jungler was on the other side of the map. And then he realm moves back safely and is keeping even in farm. Ucal is kind of just doing everything right now to get Kiwoom DRX into this favorable position. It's really him controlling the bot side of the map, and then Frog just winning in the 1v1. Solo lane's coming up huge right now for Kiwoom DRX.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of Olafs from behind look very sad. It kind of reminds you of, you know, in the past we used to have a decent amount of Olaf jungle where, you know, you would farm it out, you'd be very fast farming, but you didn't do a whole lot if you got behind, so you were kind of just running in and then running out and didn't have a big impact. You didn't have as much CC as the other junglers in the meta, so we didn't see it a lot. And when Olaf came back here in the top lane, it was like, well, he's just winning every matchup, so he looks amazing. But now that he's losing some of these lane matchups, it just feels not nearly as good. And he's doing a lot of running in and running out, or just running in and dying.
Also, Frog nearly has his Ignite, by the way, because Ignite is shorter cooldown than Exhaust. Ignite's 3 minutes, Exhaust is 4. So the fact that they traded all summons at the same time, Frog is going to have that extra boost back sooner. And at the health Clear was at, I'm a little concerned a dive could just come through. Now Raptor's going to move in and provide cover, but there was a ward you can see at his Krugs, so he's spotted. It's not just the fact that Frog is controlling the 1v1, but the vision means he's completely safe, and Raptor can't really find a way in.
Yeah, feels bad for Raptor because he's trying to put out fires everywhere, but there's only so much he could do. He got the flash on a Bard early, and since then, you know, he took a red buff. But it's not necessarily his fault. You know, playing jungle when all your lanes are in a rough spot is a very unfortunate feeling. And he does have to deal with that. On a champ like Zhao, who...
Also, Zhao, I mean, I remember we used to see occasionally, it was pretty rarely, but... Because Trundle was a normal counter to Zhao, but sometimes people would pick Jax jungle into it. If you go in on a Jax in the top lane, the vibe of both of these champions is auto-attacking. He will just counter-strike.
Yeah.
It will buy a lot of time. There is a Ryze who's Pim or roaming. I would be a little concerned of the backfire that could potentially come through.
Yeah. You see that Taeyoon, things started off well in bot, but now he's actually behind a very small amount of gold. He's probably going to catch up on that wave, actually, but all the attention from Ucal and some of the mistakes from Kellin just means that whatever happened early doesn't matter.
I think, honestly, if Kiwoom DRX had their solo lanes ahead only, and bot lane was a bit behind, I think the game would still be in an okay state. But the fact that Ucal's able to salvage bot, and now every lane is ahead, even if it's only, as you said, a slight amount for aiming, they're just in such a great spot right now. You can see BNK FEARX trying to move down here to pressure, aiming, but aiming is just hitting, getting plates. He has to back up now as the wave dies, but 3 plates down. Actually, I think it's 2 and nearly like a sliver of health remaining, but it just means that aiming can walk up and pick up another plate. And I think BNK FEARX are trying to stop that from happening.
Yeah, you can see 4 people on the bottom side of the map. And Ucal's like, well, I'm just going to push this wave, I guess. I can always be there very quickly.
Okay, well, that plate did tick down, so aiming missed out on that gold, which is something, but doesn't drastically change the state of the game.
There's not a lot of vision in this river. Ucal does have to be a little bit careful about that, as all the vision is controlled by BNK FEARX, but especially with scatter down, unless the Zhao comes in and knocks you up for the CC, you're going to feel just fine.
Just the fact Ucal can walk up, auto the turret, get the plate, and then walk away. VicLa just not really having much pressure in this matchup, and given that Ucal is ahead, has the upgraded Merc Treads, Catalyst as well, and you have Blackfire Torch, which I know is a standard Syndra build, but you're not cutting through him at all. You're just not going to be able to kill him in any short period of time.
Yeah, it just feels really rough that the Syndra counter pick, the final pick for them, is really not doing much at all. As we are going to have this Drake going down in favor of Kiwoom DRX. BNK FEARX were hanging around the bottom river for quite a while. They had vision control. Now it's actually all over to Kiwoom DRX, as it is an Ocean Soul that we do have here.
Ocean Soul, not the soul we hype up the most, but I think with some of these champions, you're going to get a decent amount of value. Bulkier champions, you can survive a good amount of time in fights, like that Olaf, that Jax, even the Bruiser junglers and the Ryze. But it's one dragon apiece, and I think for BNK FEARX, it being an Ocean Soul, the fact that it's not really on the cards for a while, does give them some time to try and figure things out. That being said, I don't think time necessarily favors them in terms of what they're playing into.
Well, Mantracu's going to sail wide, and now Kellin's going to get ulted. He tries to flash away, but that is a Vi and a Ryze and aiming on the Caitlyn, so the follow-up was very much there. Raptor desperately trying to save his support multiple times this game. Not going to help out. Andil just get pretty low and avoids the scatter there. So they get away scot-free.
Good play from Taeyoon, honestly, nearly set up the play, but VicLa just doesn't land the ability in the end. That could have taken Andil down. Kiwoom DRX is playing so much better than the first time we saw these teams match up. Well, not the first time, but the time we saw 4 days ago.
Yeah.
And here, Kellin's been spotted already. There's that line brush ward. So he's ahead of the vision line of Kiwoom DRX. They go for this pick. Even with the flash, we see VicLa being patient with the ult. And I was actually a little worried when Raptor went in that maybe he ends up falling down as well. But Kiwoom DRX don't overstay the hands, don't overstep, back away. And Taeyoon hit the Mystic Shot through the Magical Journey and got Andil really low, but the Scatter of the Week just didn't connect. And he's not going to Arcane Shift under tower to kill him. That'd be a little crazy.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of did that earlier in bot lane. Just took the Magical Journey. As now they're trying to do this Rift Heralds. I don't know about this, is the flash, and the binding is huge. Now Raptor, no Crescent Guard still, and Frog is like a raid boss, just comes in and smacks them down. 2 kills already for Kiwoom DRX, is now the Olaf finally going to get some value here, but eventually should be going down, you'd imagine, as the Counter-Strike is there, and it's just a wash here in favor of Kiwoom DRX.
Just not sure what the game plan really was there from BNK FEARX. Like, let's just start Herald and hope that they forget it exists and they don't come challenge us.
I think that was the game plan.
Well, it's not a good game plan. Kiwoom DRX obviously respond and shut them down. They managed to move in here, and Raptor and Kellin are pretty split. We actually see Taeyoon in the mid lane, nowhere near them. So they don't have the backup that AD carry. We get the first move here from the Caitlyn. Clear is also quite late with the TP, and even though he gets this kill on the back end, doesn't really amount to more. He tries to chase down aiming here, doesn't have the damage. And Taeyoon just wasn't in the fight, period. Like, I feel like if you want to do an objective like that, having the Ezreal be there, landing some poke, and being a presence is kind of a requirement. This just felt like they were starting the objective on a whim, and Kiwoom DRX were really quick to punish and move in response.
Yeah, definitely felt pretty desperate for this point in the game. Like, yes, they're behind, but it felt like a bridge too far, because now you're even farther behind if that doesn't go your way, which obviously it didn't. And now, I mean, VicLa's trying to lean against a Jax.
Yeah.
He has Scout of the Week, which can get him away once, but what about if Bard is here? You have Raptor coming back down, but I think you should not. And yeah, he's going to turn around. So that's an extra bunch of golds here for
I don't think
them.
Scatter the Weak is really cutting it. I think you need Scatter the Powerful more than Scatter the Weak, because Frog seems pretty fed right now.
I mean, look at the carries. Kiwoom DRX. As Ucal is going to find an Olaf, but Ryze is a very fun time.
This is why it's so chill. Yeah, having the Ryze and the Olaf, because he just realm orbs away and there's nothing the Olaf can do if you can't kill him in time, which is just never going to happen with how bulky he is. Putting pressure down mid with the Rift Herald. Taeyoon doing his best to clear out the wave, but the Herald will get the tower. 5,000 gold lead already in this game. You have a Ryze 403 scaling up very well. You have Aiming, who's 1,000 gold up on a Caitlyn, who's going to have an IE completed in not too much time. And obviously there's Jax as well. If you look at where the kills are, all three of the carries. So the game is in a phenomenal position. And I think a game like this starts to become really concerning because if all the gold was on one person, that person can make a mistake. And that can cost you the game if they overstep, give over a massive shutdown, and then BNK FEARX win a fight of that. But when there's 3 fed carries, it takes layered mistakes to throw a game like this. More than just one individual blunder. That's not to say it's impossible, but it is not looking good for BNK FEARX right now.
They're going to hide on Bush for a very long time. Frog, he tried to check all the boxes. We'll see if he can get out of this one as he doesn't have his flash and is now just in a 1v3, and he's almost going to take down Raptor, who gets super low. And thankfully, the Karma's going to help out with that, but Kellin got the kill.
Yeah, unfortunate. Kellin the one to pick up the gold. I think the play, in theory, is really good, but the two things is, one, the Karma getting the gold isn't ideal. You'd much rather, I mean, ideally the Olaf getting that gold. But the other thing is how much damage this Jax did and how close that was to backfiring in a 3v1. That's not a good omen. They get the tower as well, though. That's some good gold for the Olaf. And that gold lead closing down a little bit.
Yeah. Ragnarok is down, and Andil is very fast. He's going to run straight in a clear, who has no mana. And it's a really nice, close-range ult just thrown in. He does miss the binding stun, but it just doesn't matter. I mean, you're an Olaf who doesn't have an ult and no mana, so eventually Aiming just going to kill him, as he does. And now we got a fight in mid as Taeyoon totally caught out here. I don't know what it is with our Ezreals getting caught in mid, but it's been happening every match nowadays. And same for Taeyoon.
The fact that Kiwoom DRX can commit 2 members to the top lane for quite a sizable amount of time, though it's not a quick play, and yet they still make a successful play in the mid lane, still manage to pick Taeyoon. Things kind of just going from bad to worse. Even at that one successful play we saw where they managed to shut down the Jax, it ends up backfiring. The Realm War play from Ucal as he's running by, just setting up Frog to be on the flank. Honestly, a really nice play. And BNK FEARX, seeing that their Olaf was being targeted, but like, we should get mid tower, this is a good window. But I think it's just credit to Kiwoom DRX how quick they're able to set up a counterplay.
Yeah, I mean, even if all 4 people of BNK FEARX were there, the 3 members of Kiwoom were potentially even stronger, even if they were super ready for a play like that, which they weren't. So, not really much they could do, or maybe they just they should not have gone that aggressively in mid, as we know now. And Ucal, no real answer for him in the top lane. There's nothing that VicLa can do. The Olaf, we saw what happens to him if he tries to go on the Ryze. And yeah, BNK FEARX are just kind of like, I hope Taeyoon can carry this. Otherwise, we lose.
Yeah, he does have his Mirror Mana fully stacked now, which is typically when the Ezreal feels super strong. And there's a big spike, but I feel like we're on the cusp of Kiwoom DRX hitting like critical mass. We just got 2 items on the Jax with the Triforce and the Sundered Sky. He could go a Seeker's Arm Guard now, which just makes him so hard to deal with. We have Ucal about to get the Actualizer, not too far away from it, not too far away from level 16 as well, with the level up from the Roa, and then Aiming approaching throughout him. So I feel like Kiwoom DRX already really far ahead, but they're about to hit some massive spikes. And I'm not sure BNK FEARX really have great answers on their side.
Yeah. You can see BNK FEARX just moving as a unit and trying to retake their jungle. There's no objective down there, so just trying to get some wards down and not lose total control of the map. But that's really about all they can do at this point in time, as they have thrown VicLa up there to the top lane just to essentially clear the wave. As he went for Storm Surge.
Yeah, interesting one.
I don't think that... I mean, I guess he's saying either we one-shot someone or I do nothing.
I mean, the magic pen. Oh.
All right, that's a binding, and there's a big scatter from VicLa, as now a bunch of damage goes into Willer. Is going to go golden with the help of the Bard, and now they have to go very deep to take him down, but now a TP's coming in. Frog going to be very scary, but another scatter's going to hit him, and now Clear, you get to work on him. That's a kill on a Ucal, and all of a sudden, just like this, Kiwoom DRX out of position, and the Syndra comes up big as Frog trying to go 1v5. It does not work, and BNK FEARX are potentially back in the game.
A massive misplay there. Oh, the ult! Well,
it's
good
okay.
pick up there from Aiming.
Did his job. It's okay.
He did do his job. Massive play there coming from BNK FEARX. And able to get them back to the game and get them this Baron. There'll still be a bit of a goal lead for Kiwoom DRX, but what a blow to be dealt here to Kiwoom DRX. And look, we see the Actualizer come in just now. That massive spike wasn't quite available. And I think BNK FEARX pouncing on that. VicLa scatter here does a good amount of damage. And the thing is, the Storm Surge angle, it's a very cheap item that is pretty well statted. I know the proc effect only works to squish your targets, typically, but he hit 2 of the squish your targets and got a ton of value. And here, Aiming's just not able to contribute in this fight. He's completely cut off the whole time, has to respect the Olaf. And then they just charge down Frog here. Aiming doesn't die, he keeps his bounty gold safe, and he picks up a kill on the back end. You can't really fault him, but just it was such a split-up play from BNK FEARX, and from Kiwoom DRX, and BNK FEARX did a beautiful job of punishing.
Yeah, Raptor was clearing a ward by himself. It looked like it was just him, and the second they try to go in and punish him, which is kind of a strange idea in the first place because it's Zhao, they just line up for the Syndra. As now, that's a bit of damage into Raptor. BNK FEARX do have the Baron buff. So after all of this early game where it looks so desperate for them, they have this big buff. They are going to give away the Ocean Drake.
I think it's the right call.
They just don't care.
A good move just to sacrifice it. They don't have Ocean Soul yet, and it is still one of the weakest souls. It's not game ender if they get it. So they back away.
All right, Sky the Weak is down, and now Raptor might be forced to Crescent Guard just to try to get away from this one. Frog not able to pressure Clear on the right side of the fight. And they're continuing with the push. I mean, there's Kiwoom DRX not willing to step up and defend this turret at least.
Now, I said earlier, it's going to take like layered mistakes from Kiwoom DRX. They made one big mistake, and I feel like BNK FEARX have just really been sharp with how they've regained control. It's still Kiwoom DRX with a goal lead. Game is very much still playable for Kiwoom DRX, but man, has the tides of the game shifted a sizable amount. Now, Ucal did hit that level 16 and has the Actualizer. Aiming did finish his 3rd item. Frog, I think, should have enough. Yeah, he has a Seeker's Arm Guard. So these are some big item spikes for Kiwoom DRX that need to be respected. But BNK FEARX, their odds in this game look far better than they have for the rest of it. Now, they are looking for VicLa here. He is just dead if Ucal gets on him. If he scatters the wave, it's cooked.
Yeah, that's what Ucal's waiting for. Credit to VicLa, he's not going to do it.
Okay, just good from VicLa. Don't scatter the wave if you don't need to. Don't rush the wave clear but not have your biggest tool. And the thing is, the reason why it's such a limiting factor, even though Ucal could probably just 1v1 VicLa, is the stun could just buy time. And BNK FEARX had more members in that area. I think Ucal would have wanted to go for a quick kill and then try and disengage. But he doesn't find the window. VicLa stays alive. Now has that Shadow Flame as well. A ton of Magic Pen, by the way, in this build. Between the flat pen of the Shadow Flame, the Storm Surge, and the Sorcerers, the upgraded Sorcerers. You really can just one-shot squish your champions. And to be honest, even the tankier champions don't have that much MR. It's just like Merc Treads on the enemy team.
Yeah. Especially because VicLa was really not a factor in this game until that big scatter and that one big fight. You know, they probably weren't preparing or expecting this to be a problem or an issue that they had to deal with.
Most teams don't plan to throw the game. Which, you know, it happens a lot, but it's probably not something you want to plan around. That being said, maybe some teams need to be more aware of the possibility.
Yeah, we need MR just in case we give a bunch of gold to VicLa and catch up.
sometimes it's always good to have that voice who just says, guys, are we throwing right now? And if it's a really fast play, sometimes there's not time. But sometimes you're doing something, like you're starting a Baron, it's like, guys, is this the only way we lose this game?
Yeah.
And sometimes it is, and you just need to take a step back.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting because, you know, you're playing Bard, you're playing Vi, and you see only a Zhao in the bush. You're not really going to expect to die to that, you know? They were just walking at him saying, okay, let's pressure him off the ward. But the Scout of the Week and the Syndra in general just have so much range with their ability to extend that stun from out of vision, from a spot that they thought they had covered.
It's also, if you're coming at the Syndra from one direction,
yeah.
It's so hard to deal with. Whereas if you're coming from multiple angles, I think both the Syndra and Ezreal just lose so much value. So, and you have a Jax with the Seek's Arm Guard and a Ryze with the Seek's Arm Guard. You can afford to position them on flanks and come from a more dangerous angle because they have so much sort of ability to buy time. I mean, speaking of buying time, Ucal with the... I know we see this build all the time, but it's just still crazy. The fact that Actualizer boosts the shield and Ryze just gets like a humongous shield when it gets procced. Pretty disgusting synergy between that champion and item. We do have the 4th item for aiming with that Mortal Reminder. Kiwoom DRX are really strong still. Honestly, in a straight-up 5v5, I would favor them.
Oh, the flash is huge, but now Taeyoon trying to get away, but they're just throwing everything into him. He flashes, but he's still going to go down as Kellin, getting flashed on by the aiming, goes straight into the Olaf, but it does not matter. Kiwoom DRX, you just said it, they're still really strong, and they run straight up BNK, and they take a big 3 kills. Now the chase is still on here. The magical journey comes through from Andil. And they're trying to corral them to the top side of the map. In goes Raptor over the wall. Here comes Frog. Hits the double. And now VicLa is in a lot of trouble. Throws in a ult and just dies as they have a wave in mid, but they're just going to look for the Baron.
Seeker's Arm Guard is honestly just so strong and so annoying for a Syndra to deal with. You can see VicLa was like considering, who do I ult? Who do I ult? I want at least 1 kill here. And unfortunately, he wasn't able to get either of them in that situation. This was just a great play. And honestly, a big aspect of it was set up by aiming, dashing in, getting that headshot. Taeyoon now low, Andil with the follow-up, and even though the Mikhails comes in, Taeyoon's just dead. Yes, he'll flash, but the job is done. We then get the Tempered Fate, which stalls out Raptor's ult, so he's getting no value from that. Andil's Bard was something we'd talked about for a while as being a big threat. We saw teams banning it a fair bit, but he has been in such phenomenal form this game, with setting up plays with the ult, with that entire passage of play. And then here, this is when it just feels bad for VicLa. He's like, okay, we'll go for Ucal. Okay, stasis. Okay, I'll go for Frog. Stun ends, but he has stasis too. And then he's like, I guess I'll just ult Ucal, but Ucal's too tanky. There's no good choices, really, in that situation. Unfortunately for him.
Yeah. You talked about coming in from multiple angles. We saw that Frog jumped over the wall. And we are going to have an ult here. Not going to get in range to drop a trap or dive the turret. But.
Yeah, you know, still going to miss. But generally, Andil's been having some solid ones.
It's only strike 1, right?
True. I mean, he did still hit a target, but just not in range to set up a play. Clear is getting some value here in the side lane, but we actually see pings behind him. I think maybe the game plan was to realm warp behind if he overstayed, but he does back off in time. I think considering how badly the game started and how badly BNK FEARX got decimated in that last fight, they have done good things in terms of their map play and where they're putting resources and that comeback fight, but it just feels like they're against overwhelming odds right now. Ocean Soul as well, as things weren't difficult enough. Those Seeker's Arm Guards that were both used are now Zhonya's. A GA is coming in soon for both aiming and VicLa. You have Mikhails and Locket for Bard, and as a result, with the dire state of the game, they're like, let's just stack in the brush. And honestly, I don't blame them, because that kind of won them that previous fight. But Andil, he learned. He's sharp on that position, understands it's a threat. Now, VicLa will get chunked.
What about VicLa, though? he's getting chunked big time, and now Frog says, I can just dive everyone, and it doesn't matter. And I think he's right. No Crescent Guard available. VicLa just going to get stunned up here by the Bard. As a nice scatter does come in, he can press some buttons, but he's just going to die anyway. And that's all the carries gone. And even an ult into Kellin will end him. So this might just be the end of the game as well, as Kiwoom DRX, a little bit of a shaky mid-game, but they got through it. It looks like they'll win this game.
One mistake wasn't enough to get BNK FEARX back into a winning position. Kiwoom DRX, sharp play, and just leagues better than the last time we saw these two teams match up, which was only 4 days ago. I think Kiwoom DRX just doing fantastic work with their time. It is only game one. It's only game one, but remember last series was a 2-0. Kiwoom DRX didn't get a game then and honestly looked significantly